Huge thank you to CIBC for making We Get It possible. Hi, welcome to a new episode of We Get It. My name is Karine Chalifour. I'm the Program Director with Young Adult Cancer Canada. Thank you for joining us for this new episode. This season, we've actually changed things up a little bit, as you will notice. We will bring you every week, every Monday night, 7 p.m., we will bring you sessions that we have recorded and edited from our past events, sessions that are with amazing health professionals and friends across the country, some stories from Yackers as well. And we will talk about issues that are, we know, real things and real issues for the young adults we work with, and for topics like fear of cancer recurrence, body image, movement and exercise, mindfulness, legacy, palliative care. We are going to touch on a bunch of content. So we hope that those sessions are going to provide you with information and tools to help you live life and love life, and hope you get to join us every week and share with anyone who could be interested. So let's start now with this next episode of We Get It. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Dylan. Stop that.
Fontaine.
Fuck you.
Put your moosey hands away from me.
Stop making faces.
I'm yawning.
Your yawns are funny. The section where Leah makes Dylan her bitch.
No, this isn't.
Not yet.
Not quite yet.
Hi, my name is Craig. Now, I met this character about 16 years ago when I was in college. And since then, my life has been on track. No major speed hurdles or bumps that I have to go over. I have a profession that I am excelling in and I am quite happy with. I have my own condo. I have everything that I could possibly want in my life.
Me and Craig, we go back a long time. Back when he was in college and I was working as a bank teller. Then he went on to a career that he loved, and I continued on as a bank teller. I hated that job. It sucked my soul out, and I was pretty miserable for a long time. Craig encouraged me to go back to school, and I did. I went into IT. I became an instructor in information technology, and I really love teaching.
Hi, my name is Leah. And at this point, while Craig and Dylan were meeting each other, I was busy being married and going back to school. And I had no idea who this guy was. Unfortunately, my life got turned totally upside down. I got divorced. I took my 3 cats and I bought a condo. And once I was through with all of that, I thought that maybe, I deserved to have some fun, and I signed up for a couple dating sites.
In May of 2018, I started feeling really strange. I couldn't focus. I couldn't walk straight. My left leg would not behave the way I was telling it to. And I had a headache that wouldn't go away. I saw my doctor about the issue. He suspected the usual suspects, be that overweight, it was diabetes or high blood pressure. None of those tests showed anything, and I continued struggling with it for a while.
My dating story is pretty typical. Boy meets girl. Friend gets diagnosed with brain cancer and moves in with me.
What?
Friend and girlfriend both become very good friends. And then we live together happily ever after as essentially a family unit.
Aww.
I was going downtown. I'd taken the day off work because I was not feeling good. And I was walking around downtown, ran into my friend Kelly. And she immediately saw that I was walking strangely and insisted I go to the hospital. She and my friend Scott took me to the ER, stayed with me for a few hours until I got in. They didn't really know what was going on with me, but it was just the ER doctor, and he was not an expert on brain stuff. So basically, they sent me home that night and called me back the next morning. I got an early call in the morning. I was told to return to the hospital. A radiologist reviewed my CT scan and saw something concerning. I was brought in immediately, and then they shipped me off to Health Sciences Center for immediate brain surgery. They installed a stent to drain off the excess cerebral spinal fluid, and I spent a few weeks, started what would be a few weeks in the hospital.
Let me set the scene for you. I was at work, and Dylan's roommate called and said, so Dylan was admitted to the hospital a couple of hours ago for some routine brain surgery. So on the one hand, he emphasized the routine portion, but can you really have routine brain surgery? So afterwards, after work, I got off work, I went to the hospital to see this guy and get the story straight from him, see what had actually happened. And as it turns out, there had been a pressure buildup, and they had to punch a hole into his skull and relieve the pressure. Now, the pressure at the time was caused by reasons?
So at this point, I'd been dating my new boyfriend Craig for a couple weeks, and I was, very exciting. But I started noticing that he started canceling or rescheduling our dates because of his sick friend in the hospital.
So I'm told that I probably have a benign tumor, but they won't be sure until they perform a biopsy in it. So I was living with another roommate at the time, and he was on a road trip, so I wasn't going to get much help from him. And it wasn't really going to work just being on my own, because I had just gotten out of neurosurgery and I'd been hospitalized for 2 weeks.
I have a one-bedroom condo, and as you can imagine, there's not a lot of room for 2 people in that arrangement. So, at the time, Dylan's roommate was going to be off on a road trip and wasn't going to be able to give Dylan any support. So Dylan didn't need much, he just needed minor things, a little bit of help, maybe food prep. But that was it. So I offered to him that he could stay for 2 weeks. That's right, 2. And unfortunately, it may have increased. Also at this time, Leah and I have been going on more dates, and unfortunately, because of the schedule I was having to keep, I was starting to give flaky answers to dates. I wasn't so much ghosting so much as I was unable to meet the obligations. So I said, I'm sorry, I can't go out tonight. I have to help my friend who just had brain surgery move into my one-bedroom condo. Or my personal favorite. I would love to have you come back to my place later, but I have a hairy dude wrecking my bathroom right now.
So it turns out that this friend is not fake. That a very real friend. I had no idea what to expect. I showed up at Craig's to pick him up for a date, and I found Dylan in the living room on like this super sketchy third me down, like horrible old mattress.
Fourth me down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
And I just really, I did not know what to expect. So I struck up a conversation with him. And it turned out that actually we hit it off, I'm going to say really well. Dylan works as an IT instructor, and I work at a software development company.
We both have incredibly dark senses of humor. When I got a new nightstand, Leah decided she also needed one, because there's not nearly enough shelf space here.
There's no space here.
There's none at all. Anyway, she later expressed annoyance that she had to purchase her own nightstand because I wasn't dying fast enough.
And just like that, Leah stole my friend.
I got called back to cancer care after my biopsy. I didn't really know what it was about. They told me to go to cancer care. I wasn't able to bring any family members with me. Everyone was too busy and everything, like, it was just a lot of stuff going on. So I went on my own. I met with my neurosurgeon before I met with my oncologist. My neurosurgeon asked me if I had a bucket list. And it was then that I learned that I had 14 to 18 months to live. And I was supposed to sit in for an appointment with my oncologist to talk about what was happening next. I couldn't. So I noped out and returned later that week with a family member to back me up.
Dylan's diagnosis, I was calm on the surface, but it wrecked me. I was trying to maintain a sense of normalcy for him. I didn't want to be that person whose only talking point was the cancer. The cancer this, the cancer that, nothing else in the universe exists anymore. So I tried to maintain normalcy for him, you know, play the same games we used to play, have discussions about not cancer, and just in general try and act as if it didn't exist so that he could at least have a period of normal life. So this was soul-crushing for me, and it was not a good point. Now, at the same time, it dawned on me that this 2 weeks was not going to be just 2 weeks. And so we set about making a livable living arrangement. So in this case, gone were the days of having a bed in the center of my living room taking up all of the space.
So I was extremely distressed to learn that my new friend of about a month-ish was going to die. I didn't really know what to do with that other than a grandparent. I've never had anyone in my life die before. And because it was such a new friendship, like I wanted to reach out and I wanted to offer to talk and support and everything, but at the same time it was, you know, kind of a new friendship and you don't want to be like gossipy or nosy and you don't want to pry into it.
I just finished my initial round of chemo and radiation, and I was transitioning to monthly chemo appointments, waiting on MRI results to see where it's going.
So at this point, I'd known Dylan for a couple months and we'd hung out a bunch. He was waiting nervously for his MRI results, and his appointment to receive them was on a Friday. And I don't work on Fridays, so I just thought that I'd offer to give him a ride. I'm sure that the staff at Cancer Care who drive the shuttle are very nice, but I felt like this was kind of a really big, important appointment that you don't want to go to alone, and you also don't want to sit in the doctor's office alone and just try and hear the information, but also write down instructions and kind of really process that information. I'd also noticed that initially when Dylan got sick, he had just like huge gift baskets and just outpourings of support and stuffed animals and baking and cooking. Then it kind of started to dry up. And I've heard it said that because of that, it's actually about 4 to 6 months into someone having a bad thing happen to them that they actually need support the most, because most of the people in their life have gone back to their everyday. So I kind of decided that I was just going to double down.
From this point, Dylan had risen from friend status to best friend status, and he was going to be getting actual results back from his doctor. I am an optimist, but we were told his cancer has a statistical chance that he will live. So we were going in and I was not expecting to get good news from him on his scan, that the treatment had done anything. In fact, I'd been so prepared for bad news that when we got good news that it had shrunken, I was not prepared to handle that, and I broke. This was amazing. Maybe this was something that we could actually be.
After that, I started taking Dylan to all of his appointments, and Craig would come to every third one as we got MRI results. I actually remember saying to the oncologist, if you could please book these on Friday, I actually don't work on Friday, so I can come. And his actual answer was, oh, we only do this clinic on Fridays. And I was like, that's some weird destiny right there. It was about this time that I also noticed that Dylan is not organized. And by not organized, I mean like not even a little. You don't even try.
I try, I just suck at it.
Luckily for Dylan, I happen to boss around software developers for a living. So I started coordinating his appointments, doctor's notes, things that needed to be scheduled and followed up on. And then I just branched out into just generally telling Dylan what to do. And it's worked out very well for me.
So, I had been going to the monthly meetings at Cancer Care with Ian and a bunch of other people from, young adults with cancer in Winnipeg. I had been reluctant to, I'd heard about Yak, I'd heard about retreats and such, and I had been leery of it. I was scared. I don't handle big crowds very well, and I was concerned about that, and also I was worried about getting attached to people that might not be there later, or people getting attached to me and I might not be here later. Then Andrea from Local Life had gently nudged me towards it, so I was a bit interested, so I was going to go to it, and then leading up to it, I admitted my feelings for someone, didn't share them, but it worked out well because I was going to the retreat, the Yak retreat, and it forced me to face a few emotions that I've been putting off.
The retreat was great. It was painful, but in a good way. So while there, I learned about Dylan, and he learned about me. Things were said that made our friendship stronger and deeper and more resilient. It was great. So he had been working through some very raw feelings, and they'd been bottled up. It wasn't just cancer, it was a lot of things in his life were coming at him from different angles, and he didn't have an outlet, he didn't have someone to talk to, he didn't have the tools to communicate to others about this. At the retreat, I can think of only maybe 2 other people who broke down as much as he did. He needed the retreat, and I'm very happy he chose me to be there with him.
I was thrilled to see my friends from the retreat, and I was also thrilled to see my friends from Winnipeg Local Life, and I got to sort of intersperse the 2 groups. I also got to bring my friend Leah, which was awesome, and I got to rock an awesome coconut bra. And boob sweat is the real thing. I don't know how ladies deal with it.
I was pretty nervous about going to Survivor Conference because, I don't have cancer, and I wasn't sure how that would go for me. I also wondered what my place is really. I was like, am I a cancer groupie? What is this? But honestly, that feeling didn't linger. As soon as I checked into my hotel room, everyone that we encountered, even before we checked into the hotel room, just people on the bus, I felt immediately at home. They were all just young adults that I had things other than cancer in common with that I really enjoyed talking to. And I had a fantastic time. What did I learn at Survivor Conference? I learned that I can only drink like I'm at Survivor Conference, but once a year. Anymore, it's no good for your health. People with cancer or survivors of cancer party too hard for me. I'm in my 30s now, that's enough. But more seriously, not only did I become stronger friends with Dylan and really enjoy sharing that experience with him, I actually made new friends that I've kept in touch with. And I feel like people who have had to deal with all of the terribleness around having cancer, actually make some of the best, most understanding, most caring friends that I've ever had.
To all the other supporters out there, you are important too. So sometimes that means you have to take that day for yourself. Maybe go off with friends without the person you're supporting. It means maybe reaching out to create a support network so that you're not the only one. And maybe you're having a bad day, someone else can take over. Maybe it means going off and seeking therapy or counseling of some sort. Whatever it is, you have to help yourself.
My piece of advice would be, no matter what kind of a hard time you're going through, if you're going through cancer or something else, even if you're tired, even if you think that maybe it's hard to handle new things in your life at that time, don't let that stop you from reaching out and making a new friend. You could be at the darkest place in your life, but you might actually meet your new best friend.
Cancer puts you in a dark, lonely place, and you can't always get yourself out of there. You need someone to reach in, and sometimes you need to reach in and find someone else and help pull them out. So, long story short, Yak's got your back.